team, what's up? Welcome back to the 360X podcast. Yeah, it's 360X business, but I'm doing a little A/B testing right now. I'm trying to see if 360X is cooler. I think it's shorter, cooler. People like simple, people like Apple, Google, Facebook, things like that. So always trying to make things more simple and be a better marketer. So let me know, 360X, 360X business doing too much. I just want to assert myself into the marketplace and ourselves here as a marketing and business podcast. But I know you can do that in many different ways. Anyway, we're getting right into it. I'm going to run through some marketing and acquisition, merger, business news of this week going down right now. This is breaking news. Elon Musk is denied by judge for $56 billion Tesla payout package. In a ruling that could end up being a blow to Elon Musk's net worth. He might go down from number 1 in the world to number 3 in the world. Now, I have other theories too, that there's like trillionaire families in the oil space, that oil money. But we know our billionaires that are on record. He may go down from number 1 to number 3, a tragic day. The crazy thing is too, this is not even in my notes in the sidetrack, but Elon Musk doesn't give a shit about money, dude. He needs money to fuel the rocket to get to Mars. And people are so stuck on this thing with billionaires and marketers. Oh, you just need to get more and more and more. No, you want to help more. Okay, people that sell donuts maybe want to sell more donuts to make more people happy or whatever. Elon Musk needs to sell more of whatever he's selling. The Tesla thing, Tesla was just a side hustle project for him to make money to fuel it. It's a cash cow to bring in cash flow to fuel his real mission to advance humanity. You know, that thing like doing better for the world, making the world a better place, doing a lot of things. We're going to hear more about him in tomorrow's episode as well. Anyways, so Tesla CEO Elon, this Delaware judge voided the CEO's $56 billion pay package after a shareholder argued that the plan was excessive. So I don't know who's to say it's excessive or not when you do hundreds of billions of dollars. And this was previously agreed upon, but without the stock options, his net worth would fall to a tragic $154 billion. Man, I wish I had such a bad Wednesday that my net worth went down $154 billion, but we'll see. Anyway, during the trial, the Tesla shareholder claimed that the board allowed Musk to create his own compensation plan without any pushback and that it suffered a conflict of interest when approving the package. Now, there's 3 sides to every story. We don't know them all, but following the decision, Elon posted on X saying, never incorporate your company in the state of Delaware. He can now either appeal that decision or Tesla's board can drop a new pay plan for its CEO. Really interesting because there's a lot of hype right in the past 5 years as I've learned about entrepreneurship and business and company and structures and taxes and this crap. Delaware is very hyped up as this great state to incorporate in because of tax advantages and other legal advantages around structuring and incorporating your business, your company in Delaware. Elon now illy advises against it to not incorporate in Delaware. So maybe I'll take up that advice. I'll dive into it more as I open up more businesses, LLCs, structuring, real estate, whatever that is. All right, moving on. Number 2, I'm sorry if you missed it, but we just had National Plan a Vacation Day, and in 2010, this is really interesting for marketers. If you're a travel agency, if you sell travel, if you work in hospitality whatsoever, you can promote this. In 2010, researchers from the Netherlands found that the biggest boost in happiness around vacations came from the simple act of planning one. So that means that when people actually put the plan together, like checking out the spots, the excursions, the Airbnb, the hotel, the cruise ship, icon of the seas, planning that is actually the biggest source, or one of the biggest sources of happiness when doing all around the vacation space. So go ahead, plan your vacation this year, get started on it. It's already February. If you're watching this, listening to this, so get to planning because summer's going to be here before you know it. Things are going to be booked up, and things, as we know, usually only get more expensive as time goes on. We would plan a vacation, but we're kind of vacationing and working all year long as we're traveling. We're in Nashville now, then going to Phoenix, and then back to the Northeast, PA, maybe New York, and then back to Miami for our business conference in May. That's May 17th and 18th in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area there. Super excited for that. More on that later. Anyways, so next up we have more of Taylor's latest, of course, Taylor's latest. Most of the artificial intelligence, nude and pornographic images of Taylor are thankfully mostly gone from the internet, X, and other platforms, to my knowledge, so we can all be grateful for that. But really, I don't understand how there could be a stopping or regulating necessarily of AI and AI technology, what people can do. In my opinion, at this point, before there's more checks and balances in place for AI and the future of that, for me, it's like, who's to stop me right now from going outside right now and going for a run? I mean, that's kind of how I see like people making AI. There's so many tools. There's already like thousands of companies that have some type of AI service. And so now I just don't see how the government or anybody could stop AI from being created, from someone going, hey, make me a picture of Taylor naked. Hey, make me a picture of my grandma standing on Mars. I mean, I don't know how you would stop that, but I know there's a lot of government and litigation being put in place to avoid things like this. And so we'll see what comes of that. Speaking of Taylor, it's a little ironic. The last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, it was 2020. 2020, obviously, presidential election year. 2020 obviously was the year of the C word and that shabacle that went on around the world. And it was also Biden versus Trump, and it was also a leap year. Fast forward now 4 years later, we all know what happens with a leap year. 4 years later, it's also another leap year. The Chiefs and 49ers are playing each other again in the Super Bowl. It is also another year of Biden versus Trump. Up to this point, there are rumors that Biden will drop out of the presidential race, but we'll see. And it's also another leap year. So I'm no fortune teller, but let me know if the Chiefs win again and Donald Trump loses again this year. Is the United States truly just a rigged shell company of inside trading going on between the elitists? I don't know, that's for you to say. But either way, there will be more creative instead and invested ever before in the Super Bowl this year. And there will be more dollars thrown at the Super Bowl than ever before in history. That's dollars of the consumers, dollars of the advertisers that we'll get to later. And I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see who puts their money in the slot machine and wins big with the Super Bowl. And being a marketer, advertiser growing up, I definitely hated commercials, wanted to avoid commercials at all costs. But if you are in business, I would say take advantage of the Super Bowl. I know it's a fun time. I know it's a crazy time. Maybe it's a party time. You're like, I don't really need to party. I want to focus on my business. But a good use of your time would definitely be watching the ads and commercials of the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl, Bud Light is making a comeback, or so they say. As you probably know, Bud Light made a horrific mistake in marketing tactic that they used in 2023 and possibly causing the brand permanent damage forever because of this branding and marketing mistake. They started off 2023 by actually capitalizing on Top Gun Maverick. Remember how Top Gun Maverick was like grabbed America by the gonads in 2022 and absolutely exploded again, doing billions of dollars? Well, good move there. Bud Light went along with all of middle-class America and used Miles Teller, the star actor. That was really his, I think, career moment in Top Gun Maverick. And they came out with their new slogan, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. But then somebody came up with the idea to have a sponsored social media campaign with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney in April, and it caught so much backlash that I truly did not think that Bud Light was even going to make it to see the light of day of 2024, let alone get through the rest of 2023. So but you have to understand with this situation with Bud Light, it is a little complex, but also simple at the same time. You have to understand that the core customer base, the core audience, the core clientele, the core people, the 80%, the 90% plus, I would say probably 90% plus of Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch's consumer base for the past 100 years has been hardworking, middle class, lower class, working class, whatever you want to call that, of America. And the transgender community makes up about 0.00001% of that consumer base. So they're basically putting that out and talking to almost no one in their audience. So no matter what your opinion is on that, no matter about the politics, the numbers do not lie. Bud Light was subsequently knocked off the throne and is no longer the #1 selling beer in America once Modelo of all, Modelo. I hate beer, I'm not a beer guy, but Modelo passed them up in 2023. Brian Roth, who's an analyst for Feel Goods Company and an editor for the alcohol newsletter called Sightlines, actually told CNN this last year, or recently, we're all susceptible to attention spans that can quickly shift from one thing to the next, which is why I think Bud Light's losses would be as severe nor as sustained as they've been, and it's clear that consumers have moved away from Bud Light for good. And I would believe this. I don't think that Bud Light has really had a ramp up again. Now they did partner with somehow, I don't know how what a spiral of a year, what a 180 here from what I just explained and their marketing and branding craziness to then in November deciding to partner up with Dana White and the UFC, which did not make sense to me whatsoever. I would have to look that up more in the details of the deal and the structuring and the pay or equity or whatever that looks like for their deal. That also did not make any sense to me. But even with that deal, I just have not seen much attention, much eyes going back to Bud Light after the marketing scare and possibly fatal mistake that they had made in 2023. Lastly, I started this episode off with Elon Musk's latest news, so of course I have to send this one off with his friendly Titan rival, his spaceship rocket rival, Jeff Bezos, the amazing Miami native. Amazon was actually about to buy out and acquire iRobot. iRobot is the Roomba robot vacuums, which is actually a big company. I don't know how big they were, and I didn't know how long they've been around. But the European Union antitrust regulators actually vetoed and denied the acquisition of Amazon buying iRobot company. Unfortunately, since the European Union actually blocked this acquisition, iRobot, the company, now has to lay off 350 people, or about one-third of the staff of its company will now have to be laid off, including their CEO of 25 years. 25 years ago, I was in diapers in 1998 or 99. So that's wild to me. The European Union, claimed that Amazon might rig the searches for iRobot's vacuums and delist or knock down or knock off the other competitors. So they're afraid that Amazon will actually code this crap out and rig it to where when you type in robot vacuum or whatever, that they will come up, which ironically, even without Amazon even acquiring the company, I only know of iRobot and robot vacuums in terms of smart home products in that niche, in that space. So that actually doesn't really make sense to me. Amazon now has to pay a $94 million termination fee, $94 to cancel the contract and terminate the acquisition that the government, the European Union, blocked. Another crazy thing. And that $94 million is supposed to go to their iRobot's $200 million loan to help pay down their loan of $200 million that they took out in 2022 just to stay alive. It's wild. Companies can do billions of dollars in revenue per year and still be losing money at alarming rates. Hopefully, I pray to God that that will never happen to me. Build up this company that generates billions in revenue and zero in profits. Ironically, the Federal Trade Commission in the United States was also afraid of Amazon acquiring too much data and information from consumers, even though, this is the ironic part, the United States has about every data point on the internet that has ever existed, from the big five: Meta, Amazon itself, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Amazon has some of the best marketing in the game, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon, ever, as the average consumer's buying power continues to decrease as inflation goes through the roof and wages remain the same per usual. All right, thank you for tuning into this episode of 360X Business. Be sure to share it with your friends that want to make more money and become more knowledgeable about marketing and the business world. Don't miss tomorrow's episode, because I will have the beautiful, rich, and famous Francesca Gastinelli right here in the booth. God bless. Max out. See you tomorrow.